Okay, this first movement is going to be some leg swings. We're going to start to target the lower back and the hip muscles, make sure that they're loose and limber. I'm going to use the stack here as a support. I'm going to swing my inside leg, and I'm going to focus on feeling that stretch of my hamstring. I'm going to be trying to point my toe to the sky, and on the back side of this movement, I want to try to feel like I'm stretching my hip flexor muscle, okay? So I'm going to swing back and forth a few times. Feel free if you want to reach with your hand. I'm trying to point those toes to the sky, feeling that hip flexor on the back. That's the muscle in front here. I'm going to switch legs, so I'm going to switch sides. Okay, it's the inside leg, makes it a little easier for balance. So I'm pointing that toe to the sky, feeling that hip flexor engage on the back. Put my hand in there if I want. And it's okay to start with smaller movements, okay? Or maybe you're really flexible and you can get your toe up over your head, okay? But I like to repeat this whole sequence of exercises after I run through them once, okay? So I'm just easing into it. I'm not particularly warm right now. Hopefully I will be after running through. Okay, let's do some lateral leg swings. And we're going to do two different versions of these. First time through, I'm going to try to keep my toe pointed at the camera, okay? Using the stack here for support. And I'm just going to try to keep my toe pointed at the camera. Easing into it, nothing too extreme. Keeping that toe pointed at the camera. Switch sides. I do not have particularly flexible hips. Okay. Now with these ones, we're going to actually try to point our toe that way when we swing it to the right, and point our toe over that way when we swing it to the left. So getting a little bit of rotation added in there. And if you're capable, feel free to swing a little bit more vigorously. Okay, other leg. Again, adding that bit of rotation, so when I swing this way, I want my toe to point in the direction that I'm swinging it, getting some internal, external rotation going. If you're like me, it's okay not to be super graceful. Still feeling this in the right spots. Let's work on warming up those the chest muscles, the muscles in front of our torso, and some shoulder muscles and the muscles in our back. And what we're going to do now is just stretch open our chest. So I'm going to alternate left and right. And the other thing I'm doing, I want you to focus on how I'm adding some ulnar deviation first when I do these with both hands. So at the end of the motion, adding a little bit of ulnar deviation. Really stretching across the chest, like I'm stretching something, pulling something out. Okay, now I'm going to switch, and instead of doing ulnar, I'm going to open up and we're going to work on wrist extension on both sides. So extending those wrists. Let's see if we can warm up the forearm pronator, supinators, and the shoulder internal, external rotator. So I'm going to grab my stack here at about the center of mass. And I'm just going to rotate my arm around its long axis. I don't want to grip this too tight. And while I'm doing this, I'm just going to move my arm. I'm doing some what's called horizontal abduction and adduction. Moving that around, switch sides. My grip's not too tight. And I think I've got about 160 grams right now loaded on the stack. I'm gonna try to warm up our upper thoracic, get some mobility in our upper thoracic spine. Using the stack for stability here. I'm gonna try to bend over roughly at 90 degrees at the hips. Okay, I'm hinging at the hips. So my pelvis is bending forward with me. You can see it from this side. I'm getting a bit of hip hinge. I'm not having my butt tuck under. Okay. And what I'm gonna do is just try to reach as far as I can that way, underneath, and then reach up to the sky. Reach underneath, reach up to the sky, reach underneath, reach up to the sky. And I'm getting some wrist extension at the top as well. Switch sides. Reach under as far as I can, reach up. And I should be turning my torso as I do this. So I should feel it in the shoulders and in the torso. Okay, we're gonna do a couple of types of squats, again using the stack for some support. The first set, I'm gonna work on a lot of hip hinge, not a lot of knee bend, okay? But I'm still gonna try to keep my back straight. I'm trying to feel a stretch in my shoulders and warm up those leg muscles a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna try to keep my back a little bit more bent at the hips, keep those knees straight. Okay, now I'm gonna bend my knees a little bit more. Okay, so more of a squat, less of a hip hinge. Do some hip rotations. Turn my leg out. Okay, we're just going to do a little bit of toe touches. I'm just going to put my heel out in front of me and swing as low as I can. Okay, we're going to do a little stepping backwards into a lunge. At the same time, we're going to press the stack up overhead. We'll feel a stretch in the shoulders. We're going to try to stay relatively upright, and we're also going to try to keep our butt tucked under. We don't want to have a whole lot of arch in our lower back. I'm going to try my best. Okay, so it should look something like this. Trying to reach up as high as I can. Okay, let's warm up the muscles that stretch down from our lats and across our hips on the outsides of our body. I'm gonna cross over with one leg. At the same time, I'm gonna reach up with the opposite arm, okay? And I'm gonna try to add a little bit of radial deviation as well at the end. So I should feel a big stretch throughout the whole left side of my body and a big stretch throughout the whole right side of my body. So it's gonna look something like this. I'm gonna try to make it dynamic. All along the whole length of my body as I go into that stretch. So we're going to go into a bit of a split position. okay? And we're gonna try to get the outside of the upper body and the inside of the opposite leg, okay? So I'm gonna try to reach over in this direction, feel a stretch here and a stretch here. Try to make it a little bit dynamic. Okay, starting to get a little more dynamic here. We're gonna add a little bit of twist. So I'm gonna reach back behind me with my left leg. At the same time, I'm gonna twist up with my left hand. Okay, so it's gonna look something like this. So adding a little bit of rotation there. Do the other side. So with this one, we're gonna get a nice dynamic stretch. I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna try to reach back and touch my foot behind me with a little bit of torso swing, okay? Okay, other side. Now we're going to alternate, one to one side, one to the other side. We're going to try to raise our knee up to our chest and reach our opposite elbow to the outside of that knee, okay? This one we're going to try to do a full torso rotation while bringing our knee up. This exercise we're going to try to get some dynamic leg swing and rotation. So I'm going to try to swing my right leg up and to the left as my upper body rotates to the right. I'm going to do this a few times and then we'll switch sides. Simply going to pull our knee to our chest, give a bit of a squeeze. To the other side. To the other side. I'm trying to pull this knee to the opposite shoulder. Okay, the final thing I like to do before a speed training session is actually make some swings with the stack. I'm going to start out with a relatively lightweight, so I've got the 100 and the 60 loaded on, so 160, something light. And I'm just going to start to make some few gradual swings just to warm up. Nothing outstanding here, but what I would like to do in a second is kind of add some pumping at the finish and at the start. So at the top of my backswing, I'm just going to feel like I'm trying to turn as much as I can, pump into it a little bit, and the same on the follow through. Just kind of pump into it a little bit. Grams on here. So the final thing I like to do is make some swings with the stack fully loaded. So I've got 300 grams loaded on, And I'm going to use that added weight to help me move into deeper positions in the backswing and in the follow through. I'm just going to make some swings of gradually increasing intensity. I like to do a few little pumps at the end here. There we go. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. Good luck.